Let's just do a little checky check. Make sure we're all good. Let's just do a little checky check. All right, I can hear myself. Can you speak, Evan? Good. Oh, yeah, I can definitely hear you. I heard the...
Okay, yeah.
All right, well, what's going on, guys? This is Professor Diehard. I'm joined here by Aries Gaming Productions. What's going on, Aries?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah. So, we're here with a special little treat today. We're here talking about a game called Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, as I'm playing Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. But by the way, I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe out there with the whole COVID pandemic. And hopefully, you have a good Christmas season coming up. So the first thing we wanted to talk about is, well, I think the last rant video we did was on Samurai Warriors 5.
Yeah,
wasn't it? I think that was the last one I think we actually did together. And let me tell you what, I wasn't happy with that game.
Yeah, I think we shredded that thing for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, because what was it? How many weapons did the game have on release? It's still
like
the
5.
same. I think it was 5. I think the max was 7. Oh, that's interesting. That's not even enough to cover the blades or clubs or spears or projectiles. They're special.
These guys had swords, naganatas, giant ass cannon guns, and Hanzo's moveset.
Yeah, no, literally, that's it. That's literally, and don't forget the sickle. The sickle.
All they had.
The sickle from Gan Ning. I think Gan Ning uses it. The sickle spear thing. Yeah. Where is it? It's because it's literally ripped from this game. Where is it? Whatever. We're gonna. I don't want to get distracted here. But anyway, well, welcome. So there is a game coming out next year in February that's called Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. And me and good old Aries, we've talked about all that in the last Samurai Warriors 5 video, which if you haven't seen, go check it out. But we got to talk about, there is not a lot of people talking about this new Dynasty Warriors game. Nowhere. I have to go out of my way to find YouTubers who are really small that even cover the damn thing. And it's a little bit weird because I've always felt like that the Dynasty Warriors, well, just the Warrior series in general, has a huge cult following, and there's just not really a lot of stuff being released. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the only person that I see that actually puts up stuff on it a lot is a YouTuber guy named KCZ.
I just started following him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only one that I've seen that literally followed it from the day it was announced, pretty much. And I think that's the only thing he has on his channel.
Yeah, he made a funny joke about
Dynasty
that.
Warriors 9.
Yeah, but yeah, shout out to
all that stuff is just all his. Yeah, shout out to him.
Yes.
Yeah, go follow him if you want some good information about what's coming out and what's that what everything is going to be consistent of too. Really good stuff on his. There's some other guys too, I saw one from a guy named Chris Gildart, who was played the demo. And had his
I saw that
on
one.
It. So if you want to, especially somebody who's got the insider info that we, the peasants, don't have, then get these guys on it. So, but yeah, I kind of want to, or we need to probably kick it off just by talking about the news, at least the not the new stuff, but I guess the stuff that's coming back that we really like.
Yeah, let's start there.
We probably saw on too.
Let's start there. Actually, one last point. So I think one of the biggest reasons why the game's not being talked about a lot is because of Dynasty Warriors 9. That tragedy of a game that came out. Which, if you think about it, the open world, that's what ruined the game in some people's eyes. And I think that honestly, it could work more in Empires than ever could in a mainline game. Sometimes you need that linearity to a game to tell a better storyline than it to be so open-ended. It's like they went Spirit of Sanada, but with every single character, and it just doesn't. You know what I mean? Because Spirit of Sanada had a hub world, and it didn't have an open world like that. But I don't know, it was the same but different.
A lot more room to. Yeah, it gave it a lot more room to breathe. In Spirit of Sanada, you're not just going through missions and things like that, like some of the old, Samurai Warriors games were, which sometimes felt a little bit annoying. But like the other times of it, like it actually felt like, hey, like you're gonna go talk to this guy, and you're gonna go talk to this guy, and like get some story elements behind it and things like that. Spirit of Sana did that really good, and to an extent, some of the extreme, like the Dynasty Warriors extreme games, did that really well too.
I agree,
because they got to let you like go into the castle, like talk to the folks, and you get to do that in Dynasty Warriors 9 too. So that's something that they're bringing back. Like you can basically go different parts of the map, and you can go talk to the officers and stuff like that. So that part of it's pretty neat. But like they have all that's like, so that's coming back. The thing that I like that was coming back, that's actually from Dynasty Warrior 6.
Okay.
And it is there's basically a system in Dynasty Warrior 6 that they started where different things that you would do would determine your level of like how like nice or how mean or how shifty or how different things like that. And different officers will like respond to your level on that. So if you're a very benevolent ruler, you're going to get a lot of like people who like benevolent rulers, and they'll be more keen to follow you.
Yes.
And if you're just a really shitty dude who just executes his like fellow citizens and is like just all about like just conquest and control, you're going to get a lot more of those folks that are going
to like basically playing as like Dong Shuo, like RPing Dong Shuo in your playthrough. Like so I had I've been playing my so I actually created some characters and downloaded some others, like from Naruto for instance, and I based this. I actually created this Naruto. Well, actually, hold on. So the original idea for this for Naruto was from this guy at the bottom left, but I edited it to make it look a lot better. And here it is now. So I've been playing through that. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here is what ended up happening was I recruited like all these like amazing officers like Zhao Yu, or Zhou Yu, excuse me, Xing Kai, or is it Zhen Kai? Shinkai? I can't remember. I can't. I'm not good at Sai. Okay. All those, all those really awesome characters, right? And as soon as I promote them to marshal or, a strategist, I can't remember what or prefect, they immediately rebelled. Like, some of the most loyal people ever in like the series just go, you know what? I don't care that you're donating to your population every round. My ambition cannot be quenched. You know what I mean? So like I'm going to betray my leader. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is sometimes the AI can be a little bit weird. And that may be also due to the part of the difficulty, because I'm playing on hard, which you should definitely play it on hard, and then also go into. This is in reference to Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. You should be able to go into it, and you can actually change the empires to be set to strongest, which makes it so much more like tough, but also way more fun and engaging. And every battles feel like they actually matter versus you just walking in, just waxing everybody. And the reason I bring that up is because I want what Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires did in the new one, and from what I've read, it actually looks like that's going to happen. So one of the best features, in my opinion, and you, Aries, agree with me if you feel this way. I love the being able to marry somebody and then having an heir. I think that is one of the coolest. Like, and like how the system does it, it's really stupid. Like I have my Kakashi character up here, and I literally romance. I think it was Dio Chan, whatever her name is, Lubu's, sweet thing. And my daughter I had literally has this freaking samurai mask. It's like a birthmark. I came out the womb as samurai.
I forgot how to do it. Like, it's like whenever they pick you, like whenever you have a kid in the games, and like any of the Empires games that let you have the kid, and like the kid actually like starts the fight and stuff, like they just pick like basically like random elements of each character, and then they put them as like the character stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's 50% of the male and then 50% of the female. It's like the stats are interwoven together. Yeah. So if you have like two high level characters, it's gonna be very high.
Busted.
Yeah.
Like I think one of my characters had a kid with I think it was Wang Yi or something like that.
Yeah.
And This kid was super buff on attack, and his speed was through the roof. So this guy was literally just like a blitzkrieg. He was literally the walking blitzkrieg. He would just show up into bases, capture them, and then run off, and before you know it, like he's already at the camp. Like he was literally just a walking beefcake. And like it was unbelievable. So like it does sometimes you get like very, I don't want to say overpowered units, but that's pretty much what it is. Like some of the kids that you'll have are like absolutely fucking crazy stats coming out the womb.
So I was a dummy and didn't pay attention to like, because like when you have an heir, the game will tell you, and it's like, hey, your heir is going to be a boy or a girl. Well, I didn't even look at that, and I named my daughter Obado. So it's a little bit conflicting what's going on. But it's actually really interesting because if you romance the same person again, you can get up to a total of 5 different kids. A total of 5, which is really interesting. I didn't know that. So apparently from what I read, if you do another, because you can only have 1 kid per scenario, which I think is kind of stupid. You should be able to have more. So hopefully in the new Dynasty Warriors game, they actually increase that number, because it's just like, you're not just having 1 kid. I mean, think about Guan Yu. The man had like 5 children that were all broken in their own regard. Like, so, they should add that function. But anywho, you just get some like really broken characters, and it's just really funny. So like, yeah, but if you do one scenario, romance a character, and then do another one, you'll have a completely different child. You can do it up to 5 times, and I think that's where like the differences will stop. I think I haven't tried that yet, but I may try that. I don't know. But moving on. So yeah, I love that system coming back. The next thing that I love that's coming back is just being able to, and this is what Samurai Warriors Empires fails to do. By the way, the next Samurai Empires, oh God, I don't even know what they're going to do for that, because they really screwed the pooch with the last game. They have to have the ability to be a free officer. To do a free officer, you can like, there's missions where you assassinate people in this game. This is an 8 empire. This is what I wanted. I don't know what all you can do as a free officer in the next game, but like, in this game you can like do, you can raid caravans, you can back up other officers, and killing lions, or not lions, was it wolves? Defending caravans, doing different stuff, and like people like the officers you help out will be like, hey, I like you a lot. Can you join my nation? Because I really want you by my side, and you can do that. And I think that's really cool. And I think where that system is really going to benefit from is the open world component in the Dynasty Warriors 9 empires. So, think about it. Like, you're out. By the way, the whole open world is completely open world. Like, you'll meet other officers, like, walking in the city, or however big the cities are going to be. Hopefully they're going to be big, because that'd be really cool. And, be able to meet, like, Wang Ma Chao, in the streets, and go on missions with him, which you can do, and like kill bandits. You can actually find hidden officers like in the open world, like Zhuge Liang, who will be at his little hut in the middle of nowhere, and you can recruit him by just going to him, which is actually really interesting. So I'm really excited about that system. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think from what they're saying too, like all your relationship stuff with like the officers, and like just like with your like sworn siblings and like your spouses and stuff will be probably a little bit more important from what they're saying too.
Yeah.
So like a lot of that stuff is like that's kind of the stuff that I wanted them to like actually do the expansion upon too, because normally with the Empire stuff, like you have your sworn siblings, you have your spouse, and that's pretty much it. And like so that like once you get them like those folks start leaving. Like once you get them like that, like they're by your side and like will do everything for you and stuff like that. Which I had ventured this game will probably still do, but at least it sounds like it's like just more important for you to actually do it. Like they're like it'll probably be like more like encouragement for you to actually have those things with you during your playthroughs, so that way like like hey, I've got this person ride, like it's a ride or die type of thing, and what your rewards. So that'll be pretty neat. Like that we already talked about like the strolling feature and everything, where you're going to go through the city and talk to everybody. But the strategy stuff from Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires and 7 Empires is still gonna come back. Where you do your strategy for what you want to do during the time that you have like your downtime, really, before you decide to like invade maybe. But maps are huge too. The maps are pretty big, just as far as like what you're actually looking at when you're
Yeah, we got to
actually
talk
in the
about
field.
that. That's going to be a big subject
Yeah.
we're going to bring up. I think it's
So-
really important.
Yeah, because like this is like the part of it that I think people really missed in about Dynasty Warriors 9 is that for most of the Warriors games, we're so used to having like that very like base structured and different like variation on the map structure type of it, that people really didn't like the unstructured part of it with 9, where you were just like, okay, yeah, you have to go like, 5,000 feet to get to the other spot, and then you got to go backtrack another 5,000 feet because somebody's invading your camp. Then you got to backtrack another 5,000 feet because you can actually go back and do what you're supposed to do and conquer this place. Then you got to go over to the 5,000 feet over to the other side. So it's just like there was so much happening and it was so big that nobody really knew like what they wanted to do for the combat. But now that they've actually streamlined it in a way that I think is good for the maps, for the actual fights. Because, yes, they're siege battles, but the siege battles are open. So they have everything kind of put down into like what you would normally think of as like capturing the bases for what you would do for the maps.
So real quick,
like,
let's compare.
Now it's bigger.
No, and let's definitely go into more detail about that in a second, because like that's one of the biggest things I really want to keep getting your thoughts on, because that's one of the biggest changes that's coming. To Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires is like all the battles except like certain like important ones in the open world, like the Battle of Chibi or Guandu, for instance. Those, I don't know how those will function, but like how they've always functioned, it's a big open world map like this, and like you're just going out and just take all the camps. There are supply lines. So if you take a certain, which by the way, I love in this game. I love the idea of supply lines, which they took out in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, which I do not know how to feel about. Because in any battle, like, for instance, Guandu, one of the biggest reasons why Yuan Shao lost was because they raided their supply camp. So therefore, like, if one of the worst things that can happen to an army is having an empty stomach. I think that's actually a quote in one of the Dynasty Warriors games. I can't remember. But anywho, so I'm really sad about that. That's actually, so let's talk about that real quick. So Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, you have those big open map battles. And like, if the enemy is all pushing you in one direction, you can send your soldiers out to fight them and hold the line while you go around and take the bases. And if you play your cards right, you can actually just completely wreck them. Oh, that's destruction, actually. Ooh, good damn, Kakashi. You can actually surround them, and then like their soldiers will have to fall back and take that base that cut them off from their main camp. Advantage, which I love. So let's talk about that. Let's compare that to the new Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. So yeah, what you said, they're completely open now. So like, how it functions, the maps are squared off. And there's going to be some invisible walls, because I actually saw that in one of the demos. And it could be just because it's a demo, but honestly, I really don't think so. Because if you're doing a battle, you don't want to be able to leave the battle and just go off do something else, because you're going to lose. So why? And like programming the AI to do one thing, and then like you run off 30 miles to the south to see what Jing Liao's up to. I don't know where he's at, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to make sense. So they have it's invisible walls that go around the square. And you have 3 ways to attack a castle. You can use a grappling hook to get on top of the walls. If you're close to them, you can use a battering ram to beat down the door, or you can use the towers, like the ladder towers that like let you climb up and go over the fort. So there's one negative that I actually, if you look up some of the videos of people playing the demo right now, one of the biggest negatives that they've noticed is that the enemy officers, as soon as you kill them, they just gun for you the rest of the game, the rest of the battle, which that needs to change. The enemy has to have a better AI. Now, again, this could be a demo, and this could be an older version of the game, but let's also remember this. The Japanese version of the game comes out in like a week. So we need to think about that and what that means. Because like
the
the
only
battles
thing I can
have to have
imagine,
like intelligence to them.
yeah,
So I'm
the only
wondering.
thing I could think
Yeah.
of when they do that is like they would either patch the Japanese version when it comes out, and then that's the version that launches with the American version or the North American version that's going
Yeah.
to come out in February. I think I don't know when the European version comes out. I think that comes out actually like either later or before the North American version. But like
Yeah. I
either
don't
way,
know.
like they'll probably, I would imagine, they would probably end up getting some of the feedback from it, especially from the folks who they have as like content, or they know who are content creator for Dynasty
Yeah.
Warriors and
Content
stuff.
creators. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll still have to try and be like, hey, hey, your AI is kind of like chasing me around like I got carrots up my ass crack. So like the thing is like they'll probably end up, I think, noticing it and try to change it. Or if they don't, it'll probably be something like a day one or a week one patch thing where they go into it and probably patch it.
And I don't think it's
But
bad that they function exactly that way. It depends on what the scenario is. But I guess the point I'm trying to
I
make
want
here.
them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the thing I was gonna say. I want them to do it if you see I want the AI to be able to see like if you're heading toward the wall when like the actual like let's say you can't grapple or the battering ram's taking too long and you try to like use the ladder or the tower to climb up the castle wall. I want the AI to actually rush your ass.
Yeah, no, see,
Because,
that makes sense. Yes.
yeah, because at that point, like, it's game over as soon as you get past, like, the wall. Like, that's pretty much going to be the thing of how the castle is going to work. Like, once you get over the castle walls and stuff, like, if that happens, I think it's GG. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty much over. So I want everybody outside to be like, oh, no, player is heading over there. Every AI should at that point like try to gun for you and try to murder you as violently as
No,
possible.
completely agreed. No,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
They just don't
I
need
think
to chase you like after
all the
you've killed them
time.
once.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I don't like that. And
Yeah.
I hope that the AI has intelligence because, like, it needs it for this type of game because, like,
Yeah.
it's as much as I want to say it. And the Empire's game has never really been much for strategy, though that's what it's trying to do. If you have a good player, you don't need a bunch of officers. You can just run around, Muso them to death, and then just take the bases, you know what I mean? There's no semblance of actual strategy. And I'm hoping that, with this next rendition of, this new Dynasty Warriors Empires coming out, I hope that there is. And which, that's another function that we can talk about is they're adding unit types. Which I don't know how that's going to work just yet. So I'm going to hold off judgment until it actually happens. But so far, there's only going to be 3 types of units at release. It's going to be infantry, cavalry, and archers. And there's going to be other added units if you get like the digital deluxe version of it, which I don't. That's where we're getting in dicey territory there. But like, if it is what it is. So, I think infantry are better at taking bases. Cavalry are better at, crap. I can't remember what it was.
So it's like for everybody who's listening, you played the Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
So it's basically going to work how Fire Emblem does. The infantry are better against cavalry. Cavalry are better against archers, and then archers are better against infantry classes.
Yeah.
So it's the weapon triangle thing for everybody that's played Fire Emblem. Like swords beat axes, axes beat spears, spears beat swords, and it's basically just this big thing. So from what they're saying for it, like the thing that would end up happening is like let's say like Lubu is like a cavalry, and you're playing as archer class. Well, you not only are not going to do as much damage to him as you normally would, but you're actually going to be at a disadvantage against him because he's a different class and his class beats yours type of thing. So you can still beat him. It's just going to be very hard for you to like basically like 1v1 him as like you normally would without the class system in other games. However, the other thing about the modes that they're introducing now is like a pair-up system. Very similar to what they did also in the other Fire Emblem stuff. And they did it in another Warriors game, Fire Emblem Warriors, where you can actually team up with somebody that's a different class where you'll get their attribute when they are with you. and basically you can counteract you going up against really bad fights in the field. So you can, like, let's say you're archer, but Liu Bei is an infantry. Well, now you can actually go and fight Liu Bei pretty well because your class loses to his, but Liu Bei's beats his.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that. So this is where I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but I just have to play it.
Yeah.
I do think that something along those lines has needed to happen for a while, because I think that some of the combat can get kind of stale. Because I think in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, you actually have the option to choose 2 different weapons. And depending on what you're good at is what, if you're good at like throwing daggers, you're not going to be good at wielding a sword. So you have to find something that's similar to the daggers to use, and then like give a proficiency with, because you'll do more damage with it. You can use whatever weapons you want, but like you won't be good at it. That's the thing, which I like that. And they actually tried to bring in that type of strategy into the game with the Earth, Man, and Heaven attributes with weapons in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. I don't know how long it's been in the games, but that's why I noticed it in 8 Empires. Which, same thing. Like if you have Heaven, it beats Earth, or Man, I don't know what it is. So they have that. But in this game, you actually can't. You have to pair. You only have one weapon, and you can only change it outside of combat, which I do like. It makes sense. And then past that, you have to group up with another officer to follow you, so you can take on another officer. And as I say it out loud, I think I like it. I think it's a cool idea. But what I don't like is Dynasty Warriors has never been a game where it's about you and your soldiers. It's always just been about you getting 1,000 KOs when you should have died of heat exhaustion. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's just the idea of, I'm an archery-based guy, when it should be, hey, let me rephrase. Instead of it just being like, hey, I have archers, but I just have the buffs that being an archery guy has, it should be like you in the battlefield, like utilizing those archers to do damage on the field, which is, I don't think that's what's happening. And so what I'm worried about is, if you have Ma Chao, one of the best cavalrymen out there in the Romance of Three Kingdoms, he is a cavalry guy. So is he only going to be on a horse? Which I don't think that's going to happen. He'll be able to get off and on. But does that mean everyone can have a horse if regards to their cavalry or not? So what I'm saying is, what I'm worried about, there's going to be too much of a fluidity between using things like that. And it's only going to be for stats, not for actual combat and strategy of like, using your archers to shoot down cavalry. And we also have to remember too, this is Dynasty Warriors. So things like that is just not going to happen unless they completely change how the game plays, which I do think needs to happen at some point. Just saying. So, that's a little bit, that's one of my worries. So another one of my worries is, actually, before we go into a worry, let's go to other positives. Character creation is amazing.
Character creation looks fucking insane.
It's insane. It's based off of the Neo 2.
Neo 2, yeah.
Which had like one of the best character creations ever. Like, it's incredible. Like you can change your guy, make him look super great. Like I'm really excited to try that out because like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a bunch of Naruto characters, start a kingdom somewhere, and it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for that. And I hope there's more customization options coming out when the main game comes out. Like, not just what's in the demo, but what's past that. But part of me feels like that's not the case. And I think that they're going to sell the rest of it as DLC. Which I'm not very happy about if they do it that way, because we need a lot of things to make our characters we want to make them. And there's a couple of things they've added to this. You have under armor, over armor. You can literally change the color of everything, which is huge. It's huge because in other Dynasty Warrior and Samurai Warriors games, for that matter, especially the Empire ones where you can do character creation, you've always been locked to certain colors, and then you can, I want an all blacked out warrior. Well, this black armor has gold trim on it. Well, I don't want the gold trim. You see what I mean? You're kind of stuck with like extra colors. That's not actually what you want. Which Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires has a problem of. So it looks like that you're going to be able to really customize and really make some really unique characters that, all the edit mode functions are coming back where you can replace an officer that's like, some random dude. By the way, there are 700 minor officers in the next game.
Yeah.
700, which is wild. So that means that if you ever want to like make them more interesting, you can just like create a character and then replace the minor officer as that created character, and it just like makes the game more interesting as you play it. So like you're having more interesting encounters, not the same guy who goes, "Did anyone ever teach you to respect your elders?" That same old guy for Samurai Warriors 2. So that's going to be pretty dope. And not only just that, they went above and beyond. The voices are amazing. The animations of the faces, from what I've seen on the trailer, by the way, from the trailer, we don't know if it's actually going to be happening in the main game. The problem with Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires character creation is that none of them have facial animations.
Yeah.
They don't have facial animations. All they do is blink and like talk with their mouth. That's it. They don't do any eyebrow raises or nothing, which sucks. And the mainline characters that are like, Zhao Yun, Zhang Fei, all of them, they have animations, which I hate. Because the created characters should feel real, not ugly plastic dolls that have no semblance of character at all. Which I'm hoping. And the beards look great. They finally don't look like a bunch of like black colored grass on your face that doesn't even make sense. That looks better.
The color shading. So apparently they actually have a color shading option too, where it's like you don't have to just pick like base colors. That's the one thing I don't like about the like regular Dynasty Warriors Empire stuff with the colors. Like the color never feel like you had an option like what you could actually use on your color shadings and stuff. So like if you wanted to make like somebody have like a really distinct armor, like very very like just color distinction on it. It looks like the color like graph shader that they have is actually the same one still from Neo 2, and that one looks absolutely dope. So you can actually like have your entire army, like maybe your entire guy is like an all black, but then your leader kind of has like a black cloak, but then he's not like actually like a black cloak. It's like something that's very similar to it. So like all that kind of stuff with the customization stuff, all the stuff that you were talking about too, like it just like that part of it is like the stuff that they probably could have focused on like maybe some of the stuff with like other things with the game, but it's actually that'll probably be one of the things that make you want to go back to it because
this to be able to create that character,
to fuck around with it pretty much.
And here's the thing too, they have a lot of returning options that I like, but they need to add more options on top of that. There's this one armor that's been in the game since Dynasty Warriors 5 Extreme Legends. As I remember that game because it had that really cool armor you can get later on down the road, and it's the exact same armor that's been there since then, which we're on Dynasty Warriors 9. So that's wild. That's been there for that long. On PS2, Holmes, it's an issue. So I really think that they need to make sure they add way more, but still, it's incredible. Regardless if the game is not going to be that great, there's going to be patches. They're going to be able to fix things through that. But not only that, the character customization itself is going to be it's going to be one of the biggest reasons why to get the game, because you can create your own worlds. You can be like this dude in Empire, Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, who literally made Game of Thrones. This man made Game of Thrones. If I can find the save file, I'll show y'all. But I have to figure out where it is. Is it here? I don't know. I may be wrong. But he made the entire Game of Thrones, and he made Peter Dinklage. That actually looks amazing. Which I didn't think would be possible to make Peter Dinklage in the game, and they did. So that's what I'm hoping for in Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. There's more cut scenes. from what I see, right here, I found it. Aries, you should actually turn into the stream real quick just so you can see this. 'Cause I need to show you this. This is insane, the level of detail. Look at this. This is nuts. All the factions are there. The White Walkers, the Night King, Lannister. You have Joffrey. You have Robb Stark, the Marshal. I mean, this man literally created every single character in the game. And I'm a little bit like shocked. Like it's actually pretty, yeah, it's pretty amazing. They made like the Black Guard or whatever they're called. I can't remember their names. They made all of them, and they're so well done. So anyway, back to what we're talking about. I want that level of depth that I can do, and you can add there's literally over 100 or more like character creation options you can do. And yeah, by the way, look at this, Aries. Look at this. This is nuts. Look at all these creations. This is wild. Like I still can't get over how they did that. And all that time they dedicated to this old game just so they can Jon Snow. Here's Jon Snow, fam. Look at that. That's amazing. Yeah, but moving on. So what else? I don't think it's in the game, but I would really love to see castle destruction, where like you can tear down walls, and just like, because if you don't repair the walls, that means the enemy has a place they can enter and you have to hold the line. I think that'd be really cool. I really want, there's actually a troop. Okay, this is one of the biggest changes that I'm actually really excited about. Did you know they have a Battlefront-esque type system with troop number now?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
With like the actual number.
With an actual number.
Instead of just that little like green and red bar, or the blue and red bar that they had, where if you just took bases, it would just randomly deduct it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. It just randomly deducts it if you just kill them as officers, and that's it. This actually has a number. So, like, if you kill one soldier, if I think that's how it functions, one soldier gets ticked off, which is really dope, because I like that, because it no longer goes to that weird thing where it's like, oh, there's just infinite amounts of soldiers to kill. Like, no, there's actually a certain finite number. And hopefully when they all die out, it's just officers left. And hopefully that affects their strength as well, which I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
That's a huge change that I'm actually really excited to see how it translates. And I think one other thing that they're going to have to add, I think they will add this. I really do. I think they'll have to add open field battles, because it really doesn't make sense for every fight to be castle siege. That's one of the negatives I have. Because like from what I've read, the only times where it won't be castle sieges is when it's like certain important battles if certain criteria is met in the open world.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how to feel about that, because what if like you're doing the era like when there's the Battle of Chibi, right? And that's between Shu, Wu, and Wei. What's going to happen? Like, if you're just like some random officer, will you get invited to join? Or if you're allied with Cao Cao, or excuse me, Cao Cao, I don't want to say it wrong. Will you be able to join him in the fight? Which I hope. That'd be really interesting if you can do that. I hope that's in the game. But like, I do think that, being able to do an option of battle where like, if you don't want to fight them a siege battle every single time, you can then do an open field battle where like your soldiers meet them out in the field of battle. And that's in that regard. Okay, here's the thing too. I know it's not going to be completely possible, but still it's an open world. So like if you just like send your soldiers out, like if you're marching to the enemy territory and they march to you, you just meet each other on the road and you should just be able to fight them. I think if they were to do something like that, that'd be really incredible. Another very important thing I need to talk about. Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires had a thing called Catapults. Now, they didn't function like, how they should normally function. They just fought other soldiers, just random catapults being puppeteered by God himself. But there's actually going to be siege weaponry that, from what I've seen so far, is only going to be on the defense side, which I hope that's not the case, which they can add other stratagems where you can add like catapults to the offense, where you can like tear down like the enemy or do different things with it. I hope they add things like that, because I think that'd be really incredible. But I'm excited that that's gonna play a huge part. So like if you're playing like a ninja or you're just playing a character like I need to take down those catapults, so you can grab up onto the wall and take them out, which it can help the soldiers. I'm kind of excited about that side of it. I'm trying to think, what else are you excited about?
I'm really excited about I guess like the more or less so. This is just kind of like I guess for my like sense of getting kind of in the headspace of another Warriors game too is and especially something that Samurai Warriors 5 didn't have is like actually having different move sets and being able to like actually customize like your type of move set that you want instead of just picking between 5 fucking weapons and actually having your original like Dynasty Warriors move sets that the folks they actually have. And from what I've seen, they've kept most of everybody's move sets that they probably
there's whole new weapons now that they've added from in the new Dynasty Warriors 9. So that poses an issue in my opinion. There's one that has to be in this game, and I don't know if they'll bring it back, is the Tonfas for Sunsei. They completely took it out, and I have no idea why. Because his new weapon sucks. And how he looks sucks. Like they ruined Sensei, in my opinion. I'm very salty about that. Which he's actually a favorite of a lot of people, by the way. And they just kind of gutted him. But Sun Quan looks like the best. Like they made him like look like a freaking G, which I'm glad. Because if you rewind the calendar to like I don't know when Dynasty Warriors 5 came out, he looked awful. Like he was the ugliest son of a gun I've ever seen. But they finally fixed it. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Being able to change up your Muso sets and just like how you can do in 8 Empires, you can like do so many cool things. I thought it was stupid, but ever since I created my Naruto type characters, being able to be Kakashi and then like do my jump Muso is like point out the scroll makes so much sense, and it's kind of dope now. So like being able to do that is just super cool.
Also too. The amount of characters you can create apparently is like astronomical. Apparently the character slot is like 700 like custom characters, and like you can have like up to 50 like kingdoms.
I think the number is okay. So there's 700 actual minor characters in the game, and if I remember correctly, I may be wrong. There is 8 groups of 50 total custom characters. So that means that in each group there's 50 slots. So it's that's 400, which is still great. Yeah. That's still fantastic. Like that's 400 custom characters you can add to the world and or replace, which is still incredible. Like I'm not upset about it at all.
Absolutely.
So I think it's gonna be really cool to be able to do that. Because they haven't made Ma Tang yet in the game, which I think is a huge. Like they need to do Ma Tang like now. Like that poor man needs story content. And because he's the father of Ma Chao, so having like a face to the name would be really dope. So like that's one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to create Ma Tang and then replace him in the main game. That way it makes more sense. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. What else? I mean, there's going to be some things you can do in the open world, like romancing your character, the one person you want to is more interesting because you can they'll take you to certain like beautiful locations of the map, which is going to be really cool. There's more. Again, we already talked about this, but there's more cutscenes where you unite your people to like take over a kingdom or do different stuff, and there's just more cutscenes like with people that matter the most to you. That's going to be involved with that, which I'm just really excited about to see how that's going to translate. Also worried because sometimes one of my favorite quotes is, it appears vast as an ocean but has the depth of a puddle. I'm hoping that's not the case for this game coming out. So we will see. Because the latest trailer was like, was it Lu Bu's daughter was like your second in command, and she's just like looking at you like you're like the best thing ever. She would follow you anywhere. And I'm excited for those type of cutscenes when you rise up and then kind of take over China. Like, I think that's going to be really incredible. I'm trying to think what else. What else is there? I mean, I guess, we just have to really see how at the end of the day, you buy the Dynasty Warriors games because you love the square button. It's going to be. I mean, you want to marry that square button after you play a game.
Fondled the square button for the past like 20 years we've been playing the game.
Literally, yeah, and it's been fun ever since. So I'm hoping that there's just I'm hoping for some serious strategy, things that actually can wreck you. Like if you don't, like they have secret strategies, like they kind of did. They had stratagems in 8 Empires. Where like by the way, the most broken one is the crossfire one, where you can rain down arrows everywhere. That literally destroys the enemy, and it's amazing.
Yeah, like that makes it literally hell. It literally turns everything into hell, and the other team just doesn't know what to do. Like they
literally go to a quarter health.
The AI doesn't know what to do. Like they literally are all like running around. They're like, oh fuck.
But in that same kind of type of essence. The same thing can happen to you. You get that, and then your team is wrecked, and they get completely stomped, which is awesome. I love that. So I'm hoping that, things like that matter. Like I shouldn't be able, if I'm a cavalry officer, I shouldn't be able to activate a crossfire strategy. Unless I'm like the ruler,
that's one. Like archery, like people who have like archery like as their class should be able to I think, do that instead. Like the cavalry, I think the only people at the same time, like if you're a cavalry person, you should be the only one that has a cavalry charge.
I completely agree. And I think that if you're the ruler, you should be able to have access to all of it because it makes sense in that regard. But from what I read, excuse me, sorry. I read that before a battle, your officers, like your head honchos, will recommend strategies to use. And when you choose their strategy, you'll like gain affinity with them, which is really cool. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. And after Dynasty Warriors 9 Empire, not just the main game, I'm really hoping that this is a win for Koei Techmo because I don't hate them. I just hate that I'm pretty sure it's done by different teams.
The last 2 games that they did were like completely against like the grain of what people like went from their games. Like they basically said, "Oh, you guys really like this? Well, we're gonna change it."
Yeah. Well,
and they were like, well, "Wait a second," and they were like, "Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. We're gonna change it." And because for some reason we actually want this thing to happen instead. And it's just kind of one of those things where like you would look at it and you would look at what they're doing and just be like, well, this is kind of like strange in a sense. Like you don't want that to happen to the company like that, especially the company that makes one of our like favorite series, and it's literally just the Dynasty Warrior series. So like I would hate for them to like do just that part of it where they have where they're going down a path that you don't want them to. So like that, I hope it is. I hope it's a win for them. I hope they can basically just like, even if they end up do patching stuff, like patch the stuff where you get some people like saying like, hey, we don't really, maybe the AI is kind of being wonky, or hey, maybe there's something wrong with like the siege part of it or something like that. If it happens, then they should be able to patch it out still. So I really do hope it'll be a win for them. But like from what it looks like too, like they're going in the right direction. Like the siege battles by themselves is in the right direction for an Empires game, like in my opinion. Like I would rather, like, if you want to keep the main line, like how they're doing, like all the other games where it's kind of like base based, kind of weird thing to say, but like where it's just like you have the bases and then you have the main camp stuff. If you want to keep that for the like OG like type of Warriors games, then you can. And if you want to keep the siege battles like they have it, like the Empire stuff, then that'd be cool too, because even if they do Samurai Warriors 5 Empires, let's say, and they keep the siege battle stuff, well, really, it may not even be necessarily castles. Maybe it's just like, it could be, well, it'd still be castles, but it's like the very, like, like Osaka castle. It's not built like a actual, like, brick mortar wall castle. It is basically like a big giant building surrounded by, like, basically just everything you can imagine from what they would have had at the time, which would have been like musket fire, like small arms fire mixed in with like your actual like cavalry. You have the gate stuff too at different points, like all that sort of stuff they could do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I just want I want progression when it comes to these games. And Samurai Warriors, in my opinion, has been continuously beaten out by Dynasty Warriors. I feel like
They're
I don't know
gonna
what
get
they're
beat
thinking with
again.
the Samurai Warriors. I just don't get it. Like,
They're literally going to get beat again, probably. And it's literally going to be because like they're putting. I don't know whether it's just they're putting so much attention on the Dynasty Warriors side and like just basically leaving like a B team to do the Samurai Warrior stuff, because you can definitely tell the difference with like how much of the effort they put into Samurai Warriors 5 as compared to what they're doing with this game. Like this game, like the customization stuff is all the way up from 100% like real quick. Then they're doing like the different things, even with just like the strategies, how you're interacting with your officers, what you're doing during the fights when it matters. Like they actually are changing the numbers for the troop stuff. Like all that stuff is like stuff that I think a lot of people do want. They're just
yeah.
not doing it on. They're doing it on one side and not the other, and I think that's what's frustrating for a lot of people who like maybe prefer the Samurai Warriors stuff over the Dynasty Warriors, and like they're getting kind of shafted.
Yeah, no, no, I completely agree. Yeah, because I feel like Samurai Warriors, there's so much more they can do with it, and I hate the triangle button in that game. I hate being able to just press triangle and just win the game. I don't like it. I hate that it's more fast paced, where Dynasty Warriors is more square, where like you have to really fight your enemies head on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires has way better strategy elements than Samurai Warriors does by a long shot.
Yeah,
But then again, there's more battles to be done in Samurai Warriors, which is sad because China's just so small compared to, well,
yeah, compared
how they
to
made the
Japan,
map
yeah,
is too small. And they
yeah.
should just add
Mm.
extra things just to do it.
Like even if you
Um,
have to break it up, like even if you have to do like, hey, well maybe there's just like these little two smaller sections, but they're stuck in the middle there to
yeah,
give you like a little bit of like more straight, because that it does add strategy, because now you have this really small area that you can't get around, and maybe you do have to go through it,
yeah,
and or somebody else is going to take it and now you're cut off from like the rest of the part of the map. Like that's a Stellaris did that. We were playing Stellaris
hmm,
a little while ago, and like that happens. Like if
yeah,
you somebody takes something and it cuts you off from various like resources on the map, and that's what happens in like actual like war and like actual human military conflict. Like somebody cuts you off from the oil, or somebody cuts you off from your food supply, or somebody cuts you off from a route that you can take to like advance troops into and do that kind of stuff. Then yeah, like that can happen, and that will like royally screw you over.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So, we should be talking. I mean, this game should be talked about. I'm excited for it in February because I'm definitely gonna be picking it up. I
Hmm.
just at the end of the day, I want to win, and I want this character customization options to really just kind of sell it. I really want a Kakashi mask, like a little half mask that covers the face. That's the only thing I want.
Yeah.
I can make everything else work. Just give me that, please. Just give me that.
Yeah.
But regardless, man, I think we have something really dope coming our way in 2022. So we have that.
Hmm.
But other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Oh,
Um,
what I guess what things? Because well, I mean, we already kind of talked about things that we were kind of scared for, and we touched a little bit on that. But like, there's some other things too. I think that we could probably like talk about, just as far as like what are we? Um, I guess what are we wanting to like? What are we hoping that's going to do for like I guess like the future of it? Like where do
okay,
we
yeah,
want
that's a good
like the
point.
the
That's a good
Warriors
point.
thing to go from here?
And I have a foundation to start that. So I hope that this open world aspect does stay, but I'm
Mm.
hoping that what we get here, there's a lot to do in the open world that matters. And I hope that I think that they add not only castle sieges but main field battles. I think that's the best. That's as far as you need to go. That's the last
Mm.
aspect you need to have because sometimes there are battles where they didn't happen at castles, which makes sense. I hope that I do hope they keep the open world if it's good. I don't want an open world that's
Mm.
just nothing there, there's nothing to do, and it's boring. I don't want that. I just want to be able to, send my soldiers out to get supplies. Do you go out and get supplies? I can then go with them as
Mm.
they go do those tasks, what's actually happening in the real world. Real soldiers, going out there. Like I want to see archers shoot you and it actually hurts you. You know, like that in Samurai Warriors, for God's sakes. I mean, I think if this Dynasty Warriors on Empires succeeds, I think that Samurai Warriors should do the same thing, do an open world, make everyone look a lot better than what they have been looking. God dang, they've ruined so many characters in this last game. How they look. You know, where I want it to go. In my opinion, they've already have different renditions of Romance of Three Kingdoms and Sengoku period of Samurai Warriors. They already have different types, but like I would love to see a storyline that takes place during the Imperials versus the Shogunate. I would love to see more of like the guns playing more prominent roles in Samurai Warriors, where you know you are a bunch of samurai, you still use guns, but like the Imperials trying to take over and you have to fight them off, and like you are at a clear disadvantage. And you can still have the Dynasty Warriors like fighting mechanics there, but like, you know, I want it to, I want more real stuff. I want what they kind of do in Mount and Blade Warband. I want you to be able to have villages where like, you know, if you don't defend your villages, the enemy force will come in and burn it down.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a big thing that Mountain Blade Warband does. It's a whole sandbox area. So and this game is kind of approaching that. Like I want it to be more sandboxy, where like there's more consequences to your actions, more betrayals happening. Like, you know, I want to be able to like be in my castle and then I know where I get attacked by an assassin, trying to take me out. And the last thing I really want is I want an age system. I want a system where there's actual age happening, where you know, officers can die of old age, or if they've been defeated too much, they die. Like they just literally die, which I think that's already in the game. It is. It has to be, because you can capture officers, you can execute them, blah blah blah. But I really want to. I want to see prison breaks. I want to see like, you know, you infiltrate a castle and break your dude out of you know, being in chains. And it's really tough to do, and you have to be stealthy. I would love to see that. You know, I think there's so much more interwoven mechanics that they can continue to add to this open world that they're trying to do. And you know, I think it's completely possible. You know, I want to be able to assassinate a leader, and it should be ridiculously hard to do it. But if I play my cards right, if I do it at the right point, I assassinate somebody, and then that nation's primary goal is to take me out. So they'll put someone in charge. It's probably not the best in charge, and they'll try to throw everything at me. They get defeated, and then like then their kingdom crumbles from beneath them. I think that'd be a really interesting mechanic, which you see in history happen all the time. You know, those are just some small things. Actually, they're probably really big things, if I'm being honest. But that's just an example. You know, I think that having more mechanics like that, like, and that would do so well if you were in Samurai Warriors. You know, when you're playing a ninja character, they were mostly used for espionage, gaining information. So like, you know, you should be able to, you know, go open world, and you get sent out on a mission to kind of like gather intel about what the enemy's next plan is. And then when you get intel, you'll know exactly what they're going to be doing, their next action, and then you can plan your action. Or you can deliver that to your boss, or however they're going to do it, and you can recommend at that point what to do next. And I think that'd be incredible. You know, I'm a big ninja. I'm very predictable, I know, but I'm a very big ninja, like espionage type character. And then like, you know, be able to send your boy Hanzo in to kind of like, you know, be in his regular clothes, kind of blend into the environment, or be a ninja, do whatever you want. And it's like, you know, listen to conversations, you know, take out key officers, small things like that. And maybe if you take out an officer, it won't kill them. It'll just incapacitate them, and they'll be out for a short period of time while they're resting and getting back to health. But again, these are all small things. And I think the last thing, they already have this mechanic, but I still think if they fleshed it out more, it'd be more interesting, is the kid system, where you actually have a kid, you can train the kid, hang out with it, and then like, you know, show him the ways of how you fight, you know, give him like whatever clothes he should wear, and then like, you know, train him in like certain types of weaponry that you're good at, you know what I mean, like where he actually becomes like the next in line. And if your character dies, you know, it's not just game over, it's the next in line that takes over, which is how Mountain Blade Mountain Blade Bannerlord, that's how function that's actually in the game. So, you know, That's where I think. What about you? Enough of me talking.
Yeah. No, I think that they should still do something like that. At least if they're not going to do that, then at least have something where you can still maybe pull out, like let's say uh, your kid is actually like can like fuck it up. Like he ends up like, you know, uh, not being as strong or maybe like not being as like good as like you were, and then like it's even harder for you now because your kid's literally incompetent.
Well,
Like
yeah, I mean,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah,
not a
yeah.
good fighter and stuff like
Like if
that. Because
you
more
were the
than
type
likely
of
that
yeah,
would
like if you were the type
like
of dad that like doesn't like train him or do anything with him or hang out with them, how is he going to learn unless you like give him
yeah
tutors and stuff? Because like, that's actually a thing you can do in Samurai Warriors. You can ask another guy to teach another officer how to do something better.
yeah
So having that mechanic would be really interesting. And like if he's not prepared to take take the leadership of the land or like your kingdom, it starts. You have people start trying to betray, start trying to overthrow, things like that. I think that'd be an incredible thing to you know I think that'd be incredible.
yeah
So there's so much room for improvement. The combat, I think the combat can stay where it is, but I do think that the combat could be so much better if they went more with a Kingdom Under Fire type combat, where your fighting is tied to not only just how strong you are, but your soldiers fighting with you.
yeah
Kingdom Under Fire, if you've never played that game, you really should. I know you have, Evan,
mm,
but it is the best like fight like not really medieval simulator, but like just the real combat as real it can get when it comes to like melee combat, archery and like doing different stuff like strategy in that regard. Because if you can take that and like charge into Lu Bu's infantry, now the battle gets more serious because then Lu Bu's tearing through your people and like you're the only one that can stand to fight them all. Your other boys are going toe to toe with his soldiers toe to toe.
hmm
So I think that would be really interesting, and they would have to tone down the Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors esque type things going on. And here's the thing too: people would say, if you had people with intelligence with Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, they would come up and comment like, but they already have done something like that. It's called the Kessen series. I know that. It's very similar. So what I'm saying is what they actually do. And Ares, the game I'm talking about, is remember that French the 100-Year War game we played?
yeah
That's the
Bladestorm.
Kessen
Yeah
type series that they're talking about. But here's the problem with that. There's not actually any real serious combat going down in those games, in my opinion. You're not actually controlling your one officer in the field of battle. Like you're controlling the entire unit, and you just hold the button down. They just keep attacking. That's all it is, which I don't think
yeah
it's very fun. I'm talking about like you go from macro to micro level of control of the war, where like you then go into your officer, play as him in third person. You're like attacking the people like a Mount and Blade Warband, along those lines. But a mix of the two. That's what I'm saying.
yeah
But I think that's where the series should go. I really think that because I think only this series can only go as far as it can, doing the exact same thing for only so long. For so long until it gets repetitive, boring. It's the same story. It's like it's like Marvel movies. I mean, how it kind of goes. You have the beginning, the hero's not a hero. He gets trained to be the hero. He rises to the occasion. He wins. And then the next movie, there's an even tougher guy he has to fight. Romance interest leaves him, comes back at the end. They all get married, happy. Go. I mean, there it is. I mean, there you go.
yeah
So, I think things have to change and adapt as time goes on. If they don't do that, we're going to see a death of a series, which I don't want. I want it to keep going. So,
yeah
yeah, that's where I'm at. Well, other than that, I didn't really play much of Dynasty Warriors 9. I didn't play any of Dynasty Warriors 9, so I don't know how everyone looks anymore. I've seen the combat, and the combat's fine. But I think some of the best characters, like how they look, is in Dynasty Warriors 8, in my opinion. I think they killed it in Dynasty Warriors 8, and I think some of them are better in 9. But still, like I think overall, Zing Sai, I mean, she looks amazing. Like, I mean, her ass is showing if you look a certain way. But Dio Chan, hot. But it is what it is, and so we'll have to see. But any other thoughts or comments?
No, I think it'll get more interesting too once we get to see a little bit more stuff that starts coming our way too for it.
Well, the
Just
demo
off of
comes out
that.
early 2022, so
Yeah.
it'll be like January when we get the demo, which I'll be playing it a lot, and I'll probably stream it, just so I can see how it plays and get my thoughts out on it. You'll be able to have character customization, so that's gonna be cool. You'll be able to do a defense of a siege and do an offense of the siege. And by the way, there's gonna be multiple siege locations. Like all of them are gonna be different, which is gonna be cool. I'm just hoping they all play different. That's where wait. Regardless, they all in Dynasty Warriors 8, all of them play the same. But I'm really hoping that in 9, there's just different mechanics. Like if you upgrade your castle enough, like you have ballistas, you have catapults, you have your defense is like almost impregnable. So it has to be that much harder for the enemy to do certain things. I hope they like set fire to the city if I don't stop their strategy. Things like that, where like it just gets ridiculously hard to defend it. I'm hoping that that's the level of depth we see because I don't want it. I want depth. I don't need the whole press the square and triangle thing to make me happy because I have Dynasty Warriors 8 if 9 doesn't turn out well.
Yeah.
But I think that regardless, I think we've covered most of everything, at least of what we know so far. So, if there's anything that we missed, leave a comment, let us know. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Except I can't see the dislikes anymore, so lol.
Yeah, well.
But, I really hope that, again, I hope there's a win. I hope there's a win out there for this next game. And I'm really excited to play it. I'm so mad that it's in February that we get to play it because I'm super not patient because it's the one series that like you can always count on to be above average except these last 2 entries. Well, other than that, any other thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
Well, there we go. There you go. So Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires comes out, I believe, February 22nd.
15th?
Is it 15th?
Yeah, 15th.
15th. Well, that's good to know. So February 15th, which is not that far away.
No.
Let me
2
look
months.
at the
Almost exactly 2 months from now.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
Yep.
sweet. Yeah, no, yeah, literally, it's exactly 2 months. Yeah, like a couple months in a day. So there you go. So we're almost there. So be on the lookout. Check out those YouTube channels that we mentioned. Yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.
Deuces.